rental property, or even if you're on a tight budget, chances are you're not going to be able to install a water tank anytime soon. But never fear. This episode, I'm going to teach you how to be water wise on a budget. I'm going to teach you to save dough and H2O. One of my favourite ways of collecting rainwater is converting a wheelie bin into a fantastic little rainwater storage tank. Now all it takes is a little bit of time and a couple of fittings. Some stores will do this for you, but in the spirit of DIY sustainable gardening, I'm going to show you today how to knock one up yourself. Now the first thing you need to do is head to your local garden centre or hardware store and grab yourself a bin. And while you're there, ask them to throw in a seedling tray. If they don't have one of those, you'll need to grab a filter basket, which is often used in pond pumps. You'll also need a 20mm tank adapter, 20mm ball joint tap, and a 3/4 sprinkler adapter. You're now ready to make your bin. Start by laying the seedling tray or plastic filter basket upside down on the lid of the bin and drawing around the outside. Drill a guide hole along the edge of the circle and then use your preferred cutting device, such as a hacksaw or a power jigsaw, to cut around the outline. It's better to go too small than too big. The seedling tray or filter basket will now sit fairly snugly in the hole, and this will act as a great little water filter. Next up, lay the bin down and on its front, drill a hole as close to the base as possible. Check that it's the right size diameter. It needs to be a snug fit for the threaded tank adapter to avoid leakage. Find a trusty assistant to crawl inside the bin and feed the tank adapter through the hole so that the long threaded section is on the outside of the bin. This will become the outlet point. With the right fittings, you can attach a tap, hose, or even a subsurface irrigation pipe to your bin. Then connect the ball joint tap onto the thread of the tank adapter. Screw the sprinkler adapter into the end of the tap, screw it up nice and tight to prevent wasting water. And you've got a really great water catchment unit. Now you've made yourself a top-notch little water storage unit, you'll need to create a diversion to get the water into the storage unit. And the best way to do that is through a downpipe diverter. Now these things come in round or square, so they'll suit just about any tenement. Now to install these, you actually need to cut a slice out of your downpipe. So if you're renting, make sure you ask the landlord's permission before you go ahead and slice bits off the house. Oh, and it's important to remember to keep that section so that if you move out, you can replace it. Now, with these downpipe diverters, they'll generally require a length of garden hose to be attached to the supplied tap fitting. This tap fitting can be turned on and off as required. Oh, and before you go out and purchase one of these diverters, make sure you measure up your downpipe to make sure you get the right shape and size. Think carefully about where you want your homemade water tank to be, because once it's full, it can be around 100 kilos, and not even someone as buff as me can move that. Just make sure you can access it easily and it's not sitting in a spot where it will cause any OHS issues. Now, there are several different options for getting the water from your bin and into the garden. You need to remember that unless you're moving the water uphill, you won't need a pump. Now, the first way to get the water from the bin into the garden is to use a standard hose and attach that to the base of the bin. You could also use drip line, like this stuff, or even porous hose. You may notice that the water will disperse more rapidly close to the bin and it'll slow down as you move further away. One way around this is to fill buckets and watering cans from the bin and do it by hand. It's a way of controlling the water flow and building impressive muscles. The great thing about the wheelie bin water tank is that it's cheap, it's portable, and you may actually be able to keep your garden alive despite water restrictions. For more information, have a look at sgaonline.org.au. Or to find out about other ways to water your garden on a budget, have a look at our films on sustainable gardening for renters or grey water.